As Governor J.B. Pritzker and House Speaker Emanuel Chris Welch and Senate President Don Harmon return from Japan on a business trip to bring more investment, you've got Mayor Brandon Johnson jetting over to London. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Happy Friday. Governor Pritzker with other dignitaries from Illinois going to Japan to talk about business and bringing business back to Illinois. This is clearly an effort that the governor has championed, saying that he is a chief promoter for Illinois. They finished up their trip overseas yesterday. So I imagine we'll hear a lot more about this in the days and weeks ahead. But one of the outcomes from the trip did deal with expanded investment from a Japanese subsidiary, Sysmex. But before the governor went off to Japan, he talked about what he's really aiming at doing here.
I had people tell me when we started this effort a few years ago to start to really promote the state to businesses that they had not heard from the state of Illinois or the governor of the state of Illinois since Jim Thompson was governor. Right? That's 40 years. So, I mean, that's, in a way, that's embarrassing to admit about our state, but it also says we must be doing something right because everybody's recognizing it now, and they want to talk to us, and they want to come here. So I feel good about the prospects for us bringing businesses to the city of Peoria and to the surrounding community, the county, and the region here.
So the governor, again, addressing, the idea of, he was in Peoria when he talked about that last week. But he went into more detail about the variety of things that he says attract people to Illinois, despite Illinois having continued population decline. He talked about community college investment and higher education investments in the workforce, and also energy. Bingo.
And then we have lots of other things. I'll just point out that we have the third most reliable energy grid in the entire country. Now, maybe that sounds uninteresting to you, but for a lot of businesses, right, making sure that they have a continuous source of electricity that doesn't go out. You remember a couple of years ago when Texas, the lights went out for a couple of weeks. Okay, because their grid is no good. Ours is the third most reliable. Oh, by the way, the other two most reliable ahead of us are small states where it's pretty easy to do. We're the largest. We are in the top 10 most populous states. We're the ones that have the most reliable electric grid, and then clean energy, which companies, you'd be surprised. They show up at our door. It's like the first, second, or third question they ask. Yeah, have you got the electricity? But we want clean energy. We want to know that we're getting it from clean sources. And because of the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act that we passed a couple of years ago, here in Illinois, we've doubled the amount of renewable energy that we're providing since 2021 when this went into effect. And I don't want to promise too much, but I think over the next year you're going to see numbers that show that we will have tripled it over the next 12 months. So I meant since we started, not from today. We're not going to triple it from today, but more clean energy, solar, wind, and then we've got really terrific. We're the largest state for nuclear, and the reason that's so important is it's base load, very important. More than 50% of our electricity in the state of Illinois comes from nuclear. And so we're able to build on top of that for states that are running out of electricity. It's going to take us, it'll be a long time till we run out, though we need to keep building our distribution and our production.
So he again talks about clean energy and the need for that, but doesn't really mention that they're planning on closing coal-fired power plants by 2050, I think. So the governor coming back again, announcing earlier this week that Sysmex, being an essential fabric to the northeastern part of the states, they're expanding their operations with some investments. It says they're going to create 110 new jobs and retain nearly 550. We'll obviously hear more when the governor holds a news conference soon. He doesn't have anything planned for today. Probably got some jet lag, but you got, that delegation comes back from Japan, Mayor Brandon Johnson going over to London. He's there now, and he was asked about this earlier in the week. We heard this in his response to the question, but worth hearing again.
Mayor, is this a good week to go to London for a Bears game? And also, who's going to pay for that trip?
All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to London to attract business to Chicago. Okay? I'm going to London to attract business in Chicago.
But are you going to the game?
Hold on a second. Because you already know the answer to that. But I just want to make sure that you do the people of Chicago service. Because I have to be very honest with you. It's pretty jacked up the way you frame that. Right. It is. It is. It's disrespectful and condescending that the black man is going to London for a game. It's disrespectful. It is. And people get away with that too much. The governor went to Tokyo. The governor went to Tokyo to attract business. The mayor of Chicago is going to London to attract business. And while I'm there, I'm going to root for the Chicago Bears.
So clearly the mayor didn't really like the tone of the question. But then the following day at a separate news conference after the city council met on Wednesday, he was asked again to talk a little bit about the itinerary, what they're doing over there in London. So before he got on the jet to go to London, Johnson had this to say.
I wanted to ask about your trip to London this week. Is there an itinerary set? Can you tell us who you'll be talking to, what you'll be doing, and who's paying for that trip?
Yeah, so World Business Chicago, and we'll get the itinerary to you. Look, the goal is, we are an international city. So mayors have all taken international trips around the globe. I'm not the first mayor to do that, okay? And so the goal is to continue to do the work that I've been doing for the last 15, 16, almost 17 months now, is to continue to attract businesses to Chicago. There's a strong relationship between Chicago and London, as there is a strong relationship internationally between, America and England, Great Britain, the United States of America. This relationship is fortified through strong relationships with cities. Look, the NFL obviously is growing its brand internationally as well. During the DNC, we spoke to 3 Chinese companies that we're trying to attract here, 2,500 jobs. So, but we're happy to get you the specific itinerary of the individuals that we'll be speaking with. But it's all centered around economic development and my vision to invest in our young people, workforce development, housing, transportation, the whole giddy up.
So the
and
whole
who's paying for that
giddy-up.
trip?
World Business Chicago.
World Business Chicago paying for his trip, and we'll obviously see what kind of fruits come out of that. But he does plan on going to the Chicago Bears, Jacksonville Jaguar game. So there you go. But, listen, Illinois' economic situation, according to the Commission on Government Forecasting and Accountability, it's the first quarter of the year. Things are kind of strange, is one way you could put it, because listen, COGFA's report talks about household incomes rebounding and all of the money that's coming in taxes from the likes of cannabis and such. But one thing that's, I think, important to address here is at the tail end of the report, it goes into significant changes in revenues. Weaker transfers and federal sources create sharp declines in September revenues, despite notable increases in personal income tax receipts. And just in the first quarter of the fiscal year, the state's numbers not looking that good. And in particular, personal income tax revenues flourished in September. Corporate income tax receipts, on the other hand, fell $89 million in September. This was a decline of $71 million, or 7.6 negative on net basis. Part of the decline due to the aforementioned reallocation of revenues, which lessened the month's total by $54 million. But in addition, the Department of Revenue has updated default rates to allocate more business-related tax revenues, which results in a corresponding reduction in the amounts. So, obviously some accounting issues there that deal with lower than normal tax receipts for the first quarter. But it was also a down month for all other sources. Collectively, these revenues fell $93 million in September. The largest decline came from insurance taxes. Similarly, another timing element appears to have created a $36 million reduction in revenues for intrastate funds and investments. So a lot of different numbers and indicators there for how Illinois' economy is impacted by this. When I talked with State Representative Dan Ugasti earlier this week about Lawsuit Abuse Awareness Week, he talked about how there's a lot of things that the state has to contend with to get it right for businesses.
Sure. Overregulation has been a big problem of ours. High cost of litigation, which you've talked about, and I've responded to, are big problems of ours, as well as overtaxation. And all of these are leading to severe problems for Illinois. It was pointed out to us at the beginning of the last year of the General Assembly in early 2024 by Moody's that we are lagging the rest of the nation in growth. And then a little bit later in the year, COGFA, the Commission on Government Forecasting and Accountability, told us that not only are we behind the rest of the nation, we actually contracted as an economy in the first part of the year, and we contracted by more than anyone else. So we're having real problems here. And I'm just reading a new summary of a COGFA report saying that we're down in revenue this year. We are going to face more and more problems if we don't turn around the way we're doing things. Our only real problem in this state is the way we govern, and we can fix that. And that's what I'm focused on and working.
And again, that's State Representative Dan Ugasti talking about the economic conditions for the state of Illinois. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell each and every weekday morning for this program and all the segments that you get. You'll get the podcast where you get your podcast. Just search Illinois in Focus. But hit that subscription with America's Talking Network. All right? It is Illinois in Focus Daily.